Good afternoon, everyone. Our research project focuses on studying spoken English using a corpus. And for those of you who do not know what a corpus is, it is basically a collection of text that can be used for linguistics analysis. The presentation is divided into two main parts. And in the first part, we'll be explaining how our corpus was constructed. Then in the second part, we'll be giving an example of how research can be conducted with a corpus. Specifically, we are studying the variation between indefinite animus pronouns. So we are looking at the variation between some, no, every, and any, which can be paired with either one or body. So now we will start with corpus construction.
So as Sandra mentioned before, a corpus means a collection of textual data. But our corpus is called the Student Transcript Corpus of Spoken American English. And we have transcriptions of natural speeches of native speakers of American English in different settings, like interviews, talks, and vlogs, and the corresponding audio files. And apart from this, we have rich metadata, which includes several sociolinguistic elements like age, gender, social class, and we offer high-quality transcripts, which are all created by a comprehensive transcription manual, and part of speech is tagged, which means providing information like nouns, verbs, adjectives, and adverbs. And let's take a quick look at our corpus history. As we can see in figure 1, over the last 5 years, the corpus has tremendously benefited from the Undergraduate Scholars Initiative. And this year, we are proud to announce that our total word tokens have successfully surpassed 200,000. And our current size is around 216,000 word tokens and around 18 hours of speech. And now we're going to do a live presentation, and I need your attention, I need your participation. Can anybody give me any English word that we can search in our corpus? Any English word? I need your help. Yes, please.
Dog.
Dog, okay.
And now here we have 9 hits. So here the corpus will provide a list, includes all the sentences that have word dog. And if you play the audio, we can hear sentence.
So now we have bad dog.
So this corpus will also include information of the speaker, like dialect, year of birth, socioeconomic class, and gender. So basically, this is how this corpus works.
Okay, next I'd like to briefly introduce how we make the transcription. And the two main programs that we use is our Notepad++, which is a text editor, and Audacity, which is audio program. So as illustrated in figure 3, we just display them in 2 pages and carefully listen to the audio and complete the transcriptions. As I mentioned before, all aspects of transcription are strictly regulated in the manual. Firstly, we divided and put every sentence in a new line, and secondly, we need to clearly label the time steps in front of each sentence, and thirdly, we do have systematic rules when we're transcribing differences, like the example like wonderful or good America, and fourthly, if we're doing the interview, we need to focus on one speaker rather than a conversation between them. So, having talked about the corpus, how the corpus is created, and now you're using it for a linguistic research.
So here is our research question. We want to use the corpus to study variation between the so-called indefinite pronouns with human reference. That means words include body like everybody, somebody, anybody, and nobody. And also, alternatively, words include one like everyone, someone, anyone, no one. Here are 2 example sentences from the corpus. 1, really anybody in general. 2, it should stop anyone from thinking this is a purely German phenomenon. So in daily life, we can exchange one for the other, but we still have a preference. So specifically, we wonder, is there any difference in terms of 1, time, it means the age of the speaker, and second, it's the items, that's the word before body, and 1, like every, any, no, and so on. And 3, it's the gender of the speaker, and finally, it's the formality of the context. So before sharing our own findings, I would like to acknowledge last year group. This group contributed 125 minutes, that's about 12,000 words to corpus. They also collected some of the data and presented a preliminary analysis. So this is basically what they did. First, they collected all the words like everybody, somebody, and so on from the corpus. And second, they manually corrected all the examples. And finally, they loaded them up to statistics software R for analysis. And there are about 232 examples.
Now, looking at our research, previous research shows that the use of one has been increasing and slowly replacing body since the 1800s onwards. There is ample evidence that one is becoming more common. This is in both American and British English. So, for example, if you look at the graph here, you can see that it shows the decrease in the use of body in York over time. The same effect was found in our own corpus, where the use of one has increased over time. Specifically, a very highly significant effect was found in terms of speaker's year of birth. So in figure 6, as well as in the following figures, every dot is a speaker and the size of the dot is proportional to the number of examples found. It can be noticed that the proportion of the use of one as compared to body has increased greatly from the 1920 onwards to the 2000s. Then looking specifically at the results according to the item it is paired up with, all 4 items being investigated show an increase in the use of one. So in figure 7, you can see that the green line represents every, blue for some, purple for any, and red for no, and all of them show an increase in the proportion of one as compared to body.
Well, in terms of gender, previous findings showed women lead the change. As we can see in figure 8, the red line, which represents women speaker, is at the top of the blue line, which represents male speaker. Well, our data didn't find any significant difference between male and female speaker using one and body. And as we can see in figure 9, the red line and the blue line overlapped. Maybe just because our corpus is still too small to find the effect of gender. Now let's take a look at the findings of formality.
First of all, formality is difficult to define, but the variation between body and one is very old. Before 1700, body was a common form, especially in letters. As you can see in the figure, it's a solid line, it's about 60%, and letters indicates more in informal situation. However, literary genres indicates a more formal situation, and it's less common. As you can see in the figure, it's about 50% of the dash line. So previously, formality was variationalized in terms of genres. Now let's turn to our own results. We think of formality in terms of education. More educated speakers indicate more formal style, and less educated speakers should speak more informally. And now you can see the figure. It's not very clear, so maybe more educated speakers tend to use more body, and less educated speakers tend to use more one. It's a mark of informality. Now we'll discuss our findings. One interesting idea regards this change is that shortage is very common. In daily life, it's not hard to find this phenomenon, like have to do becomes have to and want to becomes want to, because the same information is passed but using a more economical form. I think we can use the principle of economy to explain that why we prefer using one, because it's shorter than body. Perhaps we need more data to prove this. Now let's discuss open questions and further research.
So looking back at our own research, there are unanswered questions that require further investigation. The main limitation of our research is its small sample size. It is hence important that we continue our corpus construction for larger data sets. Additionally, an improvement regarding the methods used for testing the effects of formality is needed. Potentially, we can classify formality according to the genre of the text. So from this, it is predicted that one will dominate in text types like commentaries and daily vlogs, which are more informal, whereas body will be more common in text types like news, lectures, and sermons, which are conceived as more formal. A possible open question worth considering is whether body will survive in fixed expressions like in nobody knows.
Right, as we come to the end of our presentation, I just want to emphasize what we did and what we learned from this program. So firstly, we added to our knowledge of determinants of human indefinite pronouns like everybody, everyone in spoken American English, and we found significant effects of time and possible effect of item and education. Secondly, we gained some experience in studying speech professionally. Transcription are essential to study spoken language, and skills like attention to detail, management of textual data, and collaboration are also crucial for this program. Like Helen kind of said, alone we can do little, together we can do so much. And thank you all for your time and attention this afternoon. Thank you so much.
That was amazing, and it's been so amazing over the time of leading undergraduate scholars, seeing this corpus building up and these different ways of investigating. It's so amazing that you're part of this incredible piece of research. It's brilliant to hear.